Hey guys, and welcome to another video. In this video, I'll be showing you full stack Flutter. This is not only one video but many videos in which we are going to be connecting our backend to our Flutter frontend. So let's get started. So in this course, we are going to be building this application which I'm going to show you. So what are we going to be using? Well, we'll be using Firebase, and I'll be showing you how to set this up. We'll be using Flutter, and we'll be using some plugins to connect these stuff. Now, if you're looking for the code is at github.com coding1101/Flutter Firebase, and here I have the code there already. So as you can see, for example, here are some stuff. So yes, there is the code already. Now what is Firebase? Firebase is a backend as a service and you can use, and we can make applications. Now Firebase is real time, so you don't need to worry that you need to keep refreshing the application, but this is the application we are building. So let's go to our Firebase console. If I come to authentication, I have two users which I'm going to delete. So we have 0 users. Now if I show you, let's start with the email field. In here we will specify an email, for example test.com, and it updates right here. Then we have our password field where you can enter a password, which I have entered. Now there's 2 buttons here, a login button and a create account button. So if we click on login, we will get a snack bar, so there is no user. So and if we click on create account, this will create our account and login. And I have a grid view which has all the posts. Now as you can see, there are some posts, and we can see that if we come to our Firestore database, we have our posts collection where we have some unique IDs, and we have also set up Firebase rules so that we can actually not do that. Now let's show you. If we click on the add button, we can add a title. So let's add it, title 1. For the description, what I'll do is I'll zoom out. I can add description, title 1 description. Now if we zoom out again, and just now there's this icon here, I can click. That's gonna save it, and if I scroll to the very bottom, we get this, which is V, and here is our title 1 which we just created. Now I can also click here, edit this. So for example, I can actually put update, click on edit icon, that updates it. I can also delete that, so I can just delete all. And so we've also added these rules. So we've added some rules so that only we have read, write, delete and update if we have our authentication. And let me just delete these posts. So delete collection, we just type in posts, we can delete that. All of them are gone. Now if I log out and log in, we have these errors. Given string is empty or null. So what we can do is specify that email again. Enter the password. If you click on login, this password. Now if I enter 123 right here and click on login, the password is invalid or does not have a the user does not have a password. If you click on create account, password should be at least 6 characters. So yes, so if I type in the correct password, click on create account, the email address I just showed you we made. So let's actually click on login. I click on a new, let's actually make one. Then I'll save that and I'm going to log out, and I'll create another account which is going to be test1@test1.com and test1234 again, and click on login. Actually we'll create an account. So if we scroll down and click on create account, it's going to create this, and as you can see we have title 1. Now I can update this by just saying update, edit that. As you can see we have update. Now if I log out and log in as the first user, we have the updated one. And if I refresh here, we have our posts. Right, so that's it for the demo. Now let's actually start. So you can find the code here. So I have given all the code. Now first of all, let's set up our Firebase project. So come to project overview, and come to your Firebase console and make a new project. Then I'm going to delete that project. So yeah, let's delete that. So let's start by creating a new project. So I'm going to call my project Flutter Firebase. Click on continue. Then I'm going to enable Google Analytics and click on continue. I'll select the default account for Firebase and click on create project. Then while that's creating the new project, what I'll do is I'll stop that. I'll close this folder and I'll start off by making a new application project, and I'm going to store this in my projects folder, and I'm going to call this Flutter Firebase course. Okay, now if I just let that run and we have our project ready, we can click on continue. Then we can add our Android application so that we can connect it. Now if you want to do it, just do that same stuff for iOS, but I'll do it for Android in this tutorial. So we have a default application which I'm not going to run yet. So let's start by just giving the company name or the application ID, which we can find in Android app build Gradle. If we scroll down a little bit, we have application ID. So copy this, just paste this in, and change the minimum SDK version to be 21, because otherwise you'll need to add some more dependencies. And I'm going to call this Android application. We won't need this, and that's optional, but you can edit this in the settings later. So I'm going to leave it empty, but you can edit this later, or you can just use key tool to generate this. After that's done, we can download this Google Services JSON and take that Google Services JSON and add it into our app folder. Now in here, this contains some configuration. Then in our pubspec YAML, what I want, actually not in a pubspec but in our .getignore, if I come to the very bottom, we can just go android/app/google services.json, and I'll do that so that when I publish this to GitHub, we don't need to actually publish this, otherwise people can connect to our database. Now if you're doing the same thing for iOS, what you can do is iOS app runner and the same thing. After that's done, we can click on next. Then we'll need to just write some code here. So for example, the project level build Gradle. So right here inside Android build Gradle, we're going to add one dependency, that is this right here, and we can paste this right there. Now I'm going to change the version to be 0.0.1, and even you should change this because this is the project currently just works with this, and I'm using this version, but so that you won't get any errors that I'm not. So yeah, just go with this version, or you can use the latest. Just check that you have this Google here and you have Google right there, so that then we can add this line right here, and that's in our app level build Gradle. So app build Gradle, I'll scroll to the very bottom and just paste this in, and then click on next and continue to console. We'll save that, then we will have everything fine. So let's run this. So basically we have our Android application. Now if we come to authentication, I'm going to just choose get started, and I'm going to allow authentication. I'm going to enable email password, that's it. Now later I'll also do Google, but for now that you can also do anonymous. That means that anybody can just sign in. Then I'll come to Firestore database and enable that too. So create that database. I'm going to start in test mode, but later we will I'm going to show you how to make it production ready, so that we then click on next, set the default the closest location to you. So the closest is that, and this is our application. We didn't get any errors, so that's all working. Now if I click on this edition button, let this work, and that's gonna provision Google Cloud Firestore. So I'm gonna let that run. Now if you actually look at the project structure in lib, we have some 3 file folders. So there's the first one is the main dart, but we'll work on that later. First, if I come here, that's ready. Now we'll need some plugins. So if I come to pubdev, the first one's Firebase Core, the next one's Firebase Auth, the next one's Cloud Firestore. These are the 3 plugins I'll require so that I can use these. So in our pubspec YAML, I'll just copy these and paste them. Firebase Core, Firebase Auth, and Cloud Firestore. Now if you don't know how to use Flutter, see my beginners Flutter course which I have on YouTube, and in that I teach how basic Flutter and how to store data on the user device. Then I'm going to just delete that file because we don't need that. And basically if I give it a hot restart, everything should still be working. Yep, everything's working. Then let me start. So we have our things ready. Now let's start by what I'll doing. So if we come to our lib folder, we have 3 stuff: screens, services, in main dart. So in services we have auth. In screens we have our screens, and then we have our main dart. So let's create these. So let's make our services folder, and inside lib again we are going to make another folder, and that's going to be called screens. So in screens we have some screens which I'll tackle later. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. In the next video we are going to be using this. We are going to be making this auth service so that we can use it. That's it for this video.